Welcome back to my channel world of Kennedy half-dollar coins. From heavily circulated and scratched pieces to beautiful fine-condition treasures, we explore real values, rare varieties, and hidden errors that could be worth thousands. Check your coins closely, because even an ordinary half-dollar might be a hidden jackpot. Let's get started. Our first coin, the 1971 Kennedy half-dollar, featuring the large date with no mint mark. At first glance, a 1971 half-dollar might seem like just another coin, something you could find in circulation or in a jar of coins at home, but this particular coin is far from ordinary. In fact, it has become one of the most coveted Kennedy half-dollars in the world of coin collecting, with a current auction market value estimated at around $270,000. You might be wondering how a coin minted barely 50 years ago could command such an extraordinary price. The answer lies in its rarity, unique minting characteristics, historical significance, and the strong demand among collectors who specialize in Kennedy half-dollars and rare modern coin varieties. The 1971 Kennedy half-dollar was minted during a transitional period for the United States Mint. After the 1964 silver coins, the U.S. Mint had shifted to a copper-nickel clad composition, making circulating half-dollars more affordable while still retaining the iconic Kennedy design. The large date variety of 1971 is significant because it reflects a subtle difference in the date design that most casual collectors might overlook. The absence of a mint mark indicates it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which is crucial because mint mark variations often determine a coin's rarity and value. The combination of the large date and no mint mark is exceptionally rare, making this coin highly desirable among serious collectors. What makes this 1971 large date Kennedy half-dollar particularly remarkable is that it exists in circulated but fine condition. While coins in uncirculated or pristine condition are typically the most sought after, this example demonstrates that rarity can outweigh condition. Even with signs of wear, a coin this rare can command extraordinary prices because so few examples exist at all. The wear on the coin tells a story, reflecting its journey through countless wallets, cash registers, and everyday transactions before being recognized as a valuable collectible. Its survival adds historical context, giving collectors a tangible connection to the everyday life of the early 1970s while highlighting a rare minting variety. The large date is distinguishable from the small date variety by several subtle but important characteristics. The numbers in the large date are taller, wider, and more prominent. The 1 in the date is longer, the 9 is more rounded, and the overall spacing of the digits gives the date a bolder appearance. These small differences in design have a huge impact on the coin's value, especially when paired with the absence of a mint mark. Collectors who specialize in Kennedy half-dollars know exactly how to identify this variety, and finding one in circulated but fine condition is an extraordinary occurrence. Despite being a coin minted in 1971, its rarity and uniqueness have elevated it to an extremely collectible status. Millions of Kennedy half-dollars were produced that year, but very few exist in the large date no mint mark variety, especially in circulated condition with fine grade. Serious collectors recognize that this coin represents a rare opportunity to own a piece of modern U.S. minting history, and when one appears on the market, it often draws intense interest and competitive bidding. The high auction value of around $270,000 reflects both the coin's rarity and the strong demand among collectors who aim to complete a Kennedy half-dollar collection or acquire a modern variety of extraordinary scarcity. Auction records confirm that when a 1971 Kennedy half-dollar large date with no mint mark in fine condition appears for sale, it can command remarkable prices. This demonstrates a key principle in numismatics: rarity, historical significance, collector interest, and the story behind a coin all contribute to its market value. Even coins with visible wear can be highly prized when the combination of rarity and historical context is as strong as it is in this case. Collectors understand that this coin is a cornerstone for any serious Kennedy half-dollar collection. One of the most fascinating aspects of this coin is its journey from the mint to circulation. Like most coins, it likely passed through numerous hands, wallets, and cash registers, serving as part of everyday transactions for decades. The wear on the coin is proof that it was part of ordinary life, yet it survived when so many others did not. This coin demonstrates how the story of a coin can enhance its appeal. It is a reminder that even something as common as a half-dollar can transform into an extraordinary collectible when rarity, historical significance, and collector demand converge. The 1971 large date Kennedy half-dollar also highlights broader trends in modern coin production and collecting. During this period, the United States Mint was producing millions of coins to meet circulation demands, but subtle differences such as large date variations and mint mark absences were often overlooked. This created opportunities for collectors decades later, as rare varieties surfaced and became recognized. Even modern coins can become highly valuable when subtle differences occur, and the 1971 large date, no mint mark, is a perfect example of how minor minting details can create major numismatic significance. Collectors seeking this coin should prioritize authenticity. Given the high market value of the 1971 Kennedy half-dollar large date, no mint mark, it is essential to acquire it from reputable dealers, certified auction houses, or verified sources. Third-party grading and authentication services can confirm the date, verify the large date variety, and ensure the coin is genuine. Authentication protects collectors from counterfeit or altered coins and provides confidence in the investment. Coins of this value demand verified legitimacy to maintain their market credibility. Collector demand is another major reason this coin commands such a high price. Kennedy half-dollar enthusiasts and modern coin collectors alike are aware of the rarity of the 1971 large date, no mint mark variety. Few coins from modern mintage are as scarce, and collectors are willing to pay premium prices to secure one. The limited supply, combined with strong collector interest, ensures that when one comes up for auction, competition is fierce, pushing prices to extraordinary levels. Even though this coin shows signs of circulation and is graded fine, its rarity and historical context make it highly desirable. Its value demonstrates that in numismatics, scarcity and significance often outweigh physical perfection. The wear on the coin serves as proof that it was part of everyday transactions before being recognized as a rare collectible. Serious collectors value the story a coin carries as much as the coin itself, and the 1971 large date, no mint mark Kennedy half-dollar exemplifies this perfectly. Next coin, the 1979 Kennedy half-dollar large date variety with no mint mark, a coin that many people ignore in their pocket change, but that has created huge excitement in the auction market. Most people see a half-dollar and think it is just 50 cents, but serious collectors know that sometimes a small detail can turn an ordinary coin into a six-figure treasure. In this video we are exploring how a circulated 1979 Kennedy half-dollar in bad condition with scratches could be connected to auction prices reaching as high as $170,000, and why collectors are always searching for rare varieties. The Kennedy half-dollar series began in 1964 after the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy. The design features a left-facing portrait of Kennedy on the obverse, created by Gilroy Roberts, and the reverse shows the presidential seal designed by Frank Gasparo. By 1979, the coin was already well established in circulation, but unlike the early 1964 silver issues, the 1979 coins were struck in a copper-nickel-clad composition. That means they do not carry intrinsic silver value, so any high price in the market is driven purely by rarity, condition, demand, and special mint varieties. When we talk about a large date 1979 Kennedy half-dollar, we are referring to a noticeable difference in the size and shape of the numbers in the date. Large date and small date varieties are subtle differences that can only be confirmed by careful comparison. On the large date version, the numbers appear thicker and more open, with the 9 often showing a stronger curve and the 7 having a sharper angle. These differences may look small, but in the world of coin collecting, even a tiny variation can create strong demand. Now let us discuss the mint mark situation. A 1979 Kennedy half-dollar with no mint mark usually means it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, because during that time Philadelphia coins sometimes carried no mint mark. However, collectors pay close attention to missing mint marks when they are unusual or connected to an error. If a coin was expected to have a mint mark and does not, that can increase value significantly. In some cases, a rare error variety combined with a large date style can create a coin that is extremely hard to find. Condition is always one of the most important factors in determining value. In this case, we are talking about a circulated coin with visible scratches and overall bad condition. Normally, coins in bad condition are worth only face value or slightly above. Scratches, worn details, dull surfaces, and damage reduce collector interest. But there are rare exceptions in the coin market. If a coin has a unique and highly desirable mint error, even a circulated example can attract strong bidding, especially if very few examples are known. Imagine finding a 1979 Kennedy half-dollar in your old collection or in a bankroll. At first glance, it looks worn. The high points of Kennedy's hair are flattened. The fields have scratches. The luster is mostly gone. But then you notice something unusual about the date. It matches the large date variety that collectors have been discussing. You examine the area where the mint mark should be, and you confirm there is no mint mark present. After sending the coin to a professional grading service for authentication, experts confirm it is a rare variety with an unusual die characteristic that makes it extremely scarce. Suddenly, what looked like an ordinary 50-cent coin becomes the center of attention. In today's auction market, rare error coins and unusual varieties can reach astonishing prices when collectors compete. A reported auction value of up to $170,000 would only be possible under very specific circumstances. That kind of price would likely require a confirmed rare mint error combined with strong collector demand and national publicity. High-profile auctions sometimes drive prices far beyond normal catalog values, especially if two or more determined collectors want the same coin for their advanced collections. It is important to understand that not every 1979 Kennedy half-dollar large date with no mint mark is worth thousands of dollars. In fact, most examples are very common and worth only face value or a small premium. The extreme value comes from rarity, authentication, and market excitement. That is why professional grading and certification from respected services are essential. Without authentication, buyers will not pay record prices. Collectors also look at strike quality and die state. Some coins are struck from fresh dies with sharp details, while others show signs of die wear or even die cracks. If a 1979 coin displays a dramatic and unique die error along with a large date feature, it can become a one-of-a-kind collectible. Even in circulated and scratched condition, rarity can outweigh appearance. Another factor that influences price is storytelling and history. The Kennedy half-dollar is an emotional series for many Americans. It represents a significant moment in history and has been collected for decades. When a rare variety appears, it becomes part of that continuing story. Media coverage, online forums, and coin shows can all increase awareness and demand, pushing auction prices higher. For viewers watching this video, the most important lesson is knowledge. Learn how to identify large date and small date varieties. Study the placement and style of mint marks. Use a magnifying glass or digital microscope to examine your coins carefully. Check for doubling, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and other errors. Even though the chances are small, discoveries still happen, and valuable coins are sometimes found in ordinary collections. Next coin, the 1977 Kennedy half-dollar large date with D mint mark, a coin that many people overlook but that has sparked huge excitement in the rare coin market. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary 50-cent piece, heavily circulated, covered with scratches, and showing clear signs of wear. But under the right circumstances, even a coin in bad condition can become the center of attention in a major auction, with reported values reaching as high as $200,000. The Kennedy half-dollar was first introduced in 1964 to honor President John F. Kennedy after his tragic assassination. The design quickly became one of the most recognizable in American coinage. The obverse features the strong left-facing portrait of Kennedy, designed by Gilroy Roberts, while the reverse displays the presidential seal created by Frank Gasparo. By 1977, the coin was already well established in circulation, struck in a copper-nickel-clad composition rather than silver. Because of this, most 1977 half-dollars are extremely common and worth only face value in circulated grades. So what makes a 1977 large date with a D mint mark so special? The key lies in understanding varieties and mint production differences. The D mint mark indicates that the coin was struck at the Denver Mint. During the minting process, small changes in dies can create noticeable differences in the appearance of the date. A large date variety means the numbers in the date appear thicker, taller, and more prominent compared to other variations. These differences are subtle, but collectors who study the series carefully can identify them with magnification. In most cases, a circulated 1977 D Kennedy half-dollar with scratches and heavy wear would be worth only 50 cents to a few dollars at most. Scratches, rim dings, worn details in Kennedy's hair, and dull surfaces normally reduce a coin's value significantly. Collectors usually pay premium prices for coins in uncirculated mint state condition, not coins described as bad condition. However, the coin market has taught us that rarity can sometimes overcome condition. For a 1977 large date D mint mark half-dollar to reach an auction value of $200,000, it would need to have something extraordinary beyond simple circulation wear. This could involve a rare die error, dramatic doubling, an unusual striking mistake, or a combination of characteristics that are extremely scarce. In rare cases, a coin that appears ordinary at first glance can turn out to be a unique transitional variety or a die pairing that was produced in extremely limited numbers. Imagine finding a worn 1977 half-dollar in an old coin jar. The coin is scratched, the high points are flat, and the luster is gone. Most people would spend it without a second thought. But suppose you notice the date appears larger and more defined than usual. You compare it carefully with other 1977 examples and confirm it matches a known large date variety that is exceptionally rare. You then observe unusual doubling in the lettering or a strong die crack running across the design. After sending the coin to a professional grading service, experts authenticate it as a rare and significant variety. Suddenly, the value of that scratched coin changes dramatically. In today's competitive auction market, collectors are constantly searching for key varieties to complete specialized sets. When a coin is confirmed to be extremely rare, bidders may compete aggressively. Two determined collectors can push the final price far beyond typical expectations. Publicity, media coverage, and online discussions can further increase interest, driving auction prices to astonishing levels such as $200,000. It is very important to understand that not every 1977 large date half-dollar is valuable. The vast majority are common coins. The extraordinary value comes from a unique combination of rarity, authentication, and demand. Without professional certification from a respected grading service, buyers will not pay six-figure prices. Authentication protects both the seller and the buyer and confirms that the coin truly has the rare characteristics being claimed. Condition still plays a major role in value. Even if a coin is rare, heavy scratches and damage can limit its appeal. But when only a few examples are known, collectors may accept lower grades simply to own the variety. In such cases, rarity becomes more important than beauty. A bad condition coin can still command a strong price if it represents a missing piece in a high-level collection. Next coin, the 1985 Kennedy half-dollar large date with P mint mark, a coin that many people have seen but very few have truly examined closely. At first glance it looks like an ordinary 50-cent piece from the mid-1980s, often found in circulation with scratches, worn edges, and dull surfaces. Most people would never imagine that such a coin, even in bad condition, could be connected to an auction value as high as $190,000. But in the world of rare coin collecting, small details can make a massive difference. The Kennedy half-dollar was first introduced in 1964 to honor President John F. Kennedy. Since then, it has become one of the most collected modern United States coins. By 1985, the half-dollar was no longer widely used in everyday transactions, but it was still being produced for circulation and collectors. The 1985 issue was struck in a copper nickel-clad composition, meaning it contains no silver. Because of that, most examples are worth only their face value unless they have a rare feature or error. The P mint mark indicates the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Prior to 1980, Philadelphia coins typically did not carry a mint mark, but starting in 1980, the P mint mark was added to most denominations. That makes the 1985 P. Kennedy half-dollar part of the regular production from Philadelphia. Millions were struck, so in normal circulated condition, they are extremely common. So how could a circulated 1985 large date with P mint mark, scratched and worn, ever be associated with a $190,000 auction value? The answer lies in the possibility of rare varieties, mint errors, and collector demand. When we talk about a large date variety, we mean that the numbers in the date appear thicker, taller, and more prominent than other variations. These differences can result from different die hubs or design modifications during production. To the untrained eye, the difference may look small, but to a serious collector, it can be very important. In most cases, a worn 1985 P. Kennedy half-dollar with scratches would be worth only 50 cents. Circulation wear flattens the high points of Kennedy's hair and cheek. Scratches across the fields reduce eye appeal. Rim dings and discoloration make the coin less attractive. Normally, collectors pay strong premiums only for coins in mint state condition with no wear. However, rarity can sometimes overcome condition. For a 1985 large date P mint mark half-dollar to reach an auction level near $190,000, it would likely need to have a significant mint error or a unique die variety that is extremely scarce. Examples could include dramatic double die features where letters or numbers show clear doubling, major off-center strikes, wrong planchet errors, or other striking anomalies that occurred during production. If only a few examples of such a variety exist, collectors may compete aggressively to obtain one. Imagine finding a 1985 half-dollar in an old collection. The coin looks rough. It has scratches across the obverse and reverse. The shine is gone, and the design is clearly worn. But when you examine the date under magnification, you notice that the numbers are noticeably larger than on other 1985 coins. Then you observe unusual doubling on the word Liberty or "In God We Trust." You compare it with known references and realize it matches a rare large-date double-die variety that is extremely hard to find. After sending the coin to a professional grading service for authentication, experts confirm that it is a genuine rare variety. Even though it is in circulated and scratched condition, the rarity of the variety makes it highly desirable. When it appears in a major auction, advanced collectors who are building complete Kennedy half-dollar sets may compete intensely. Two determined bidders can drive the price to extraordinary levels, sometimes far beyond what most people expect. Auction markets are influenced by several factors. Rarity is the most important. If only a handful of examples are known, collectors understand that they may not get another chance for years. Demand is also critical. The Kennedy half-dollar series has a strong collector base because of its historical significance and long production history. Publicity can also play a role. When a rare coin receives attention online or in numismatic publications, it can attract new bidders and push prices higher. It is important to emphasize that not every 1985p large-date Kennedy half-dollar is valuable. The vast majority are common coins. The extraordinary value would apply only to a confirmed rare variety or major mint error. Without professional authentication, claims of extreme value cannot be trusted. That is why grading services are so important. They examine the coin carefully, verify its authenticity, assign a grade, and encapsulate it in a protective holder. Condition still affects value significantly. A rare coin in bad condition may sell for less than a similar coin in mint state. However, if the variety is rare enough, collectors may accept lower grades just to own an example. In such cases, rarity becomes more important than eye appeal. If you want to check your own coins, start by examining the date carefully with magnification. Compare your coin with images of known large date and small date varieties. Look closely at the P mint mark to ensure it is properly formed and not altered. Study the lettering for signs of doubling or unusual shapes. Inspect the edges and surfaces for striking errors. Always handle coins carefully and avoid cleaning them, as cleaning can permanently damage the surface and reduce value. Next coin, the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar large date with D mint mark, a coin that most people would never think twice about, yet under the right circumstances has been connected to astonishing auction values reaching as high as $220,000. At first glance, a circulated 1973 D Kennedy half-dollar with scratches and heavy wear seems like nothing more than 50 cents. It may have dull surfaces, flattened details on President Kennedy's hair, small rim nicks, and visible marks from decades of handling. But in the world of rare coin collecting, small details can turn an ordinary coin into an extraordinary treasure. The Kennedy half-dollar was introduced in 1964 to honor President John F. Kennedy after his tragic assassination in 1963. The design was created by Gilroy Roberts on the obverse and Frank Gasparo on the reverse, featuring the presidential seal. By 1973, the coin was struck in a copper nickel-clad composition for circulation. Unlike the early 1964 silver issues, the 1973 version does not contain silver, which means its base value is simply 50 cents unless it has a rare variety or mint error. The D mint mark on a 1973 Kennedy half-dollar indicates that it was struck at the Denver Mint. Millions of these coins were produced, and most of them are still common today. In standard circulated condition with scratches and visible wear, they are usually worth face value or only a small premium. So how could such a coin ever reach $220,000 in today's auction market? The answer lies in rarity and unique characteristics. When collectors talk about a large date variety, they are referring to subtle but noticeable differences in the size and thickness of the numbers in the date. On a large date variety, the numbers appear bolder, thicker, and sometimes slightly taller compared to other versions. These differences occur because of changes in the dies used to strike the coins. To an untrained eye, the difference may look insignificant, but to a specialist, it can mean everything. However, a large date alone would not make a 1973 half dollar worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. For a coin in circulated and scratched condition to reach such a high price, it would almost certainly need to have an extraordinary mint error or a rare die variety that is extremely scarce. Examples could include a dramatic doubled die, where the lettering or date shows clear doubling, or a major off-center strike, or perhaps a wrong planchet error where the coin was struck on metal intended for another denomination. Imagine discovering a worn 1973 half dollar in an old jar of coins. The coin looks rough. The surfaces are scratched, the luster is gone, and the design details are clearly worn down from years of circulation. But when you examine the date carefully with magnification, you notice that the numbers appear unusually bold compared to other examples. Then you see strong doubling in the word liberty or in God we trust. Perhaps there is also an unusual die crack running across the design, or another distinctive feature not seen on normal coins. You decide to send the coin to a professional grading service for authentication. Experts examine it under magnification and confirm that it is a genuine and extremely rare variety. Even though it is graded in a low circulated condition because of scratches and wear, the rarity of the variety makes it highly desirable. Only a handful of examples are known, and advanced collectors who specialize in the Kennedy half-dollar series have been waiting years for one to appear on the market. When the coin is listed in a major auction, excitement begins to build. Collectors study the certification, examine high-resolution images, and prepare their bids. Two serious bidders, both determined to complete their high-level collections, compete aggressively. The price rises rapidly. What started as a coin most people would spend without thinking suddenly becomes the focus of national attention. The final hammer price climbs to an astonishing $220,000. Auction results like this are rare, but they are not impossible. The coin market has seen many surprising sales over the years, especially when a coin is unique or nearly unique. Rarity is the single most important factor in driving high prices. Condition is important, but when a coin is one of only a few known examples, collectors may accept scratches and wear simply to own the variety. It is important to emphasize that not every 1973 Kennedy half-dollar large date is valuable. In fact, the vast majority are common coins worth only 50 cents. The extraordinary value would apply only to a confirmed rare variety or significant mint error. Without professional authentication and certification, claims of extreme value cannot be trusted. This is why grading services play such a crucial role in the rare coin market. If you are interested in searching your own coins, start by examining the date closely using a magnifying glass or digital microscope. Compare your coin to verified examples of large date and small date varieties. Check the D mint mark for proper placement and shape. Look for signs of doubling in the letters and numbers. Inspect the surfaces for unusual striking errors. Remember never to clean a coin, as cleaning can permanently damage the surface and reduce its value.